a romance reader, and I'm a hopeless romantic through and through, but I'm simultaneously a very single girl trying to date in an environment that is nothing like the books and movies. I'm tired of scrolling on dating apps, having very little, meaning zero, luck with the men I meet on those apps. I'm tired of waiting around for my second chance friends to lovers moment. I'm tired of sacrificing my meet cute rom-com romance novel story.
So in other words, you're not willing to let go of the unrealistic standards that are set by stories of pure fiction that were created for you. You're jealous of stories about how fake people met in a fake world with standards that are entirely fake, which means that you expect men to meet the leading man standards of Hollywood. But this begs the question, if those men are willing to do that kind of work, why would they be willing to settle for you?
I have a question for you, because this is my favorite question to ask any couple ever. But if you're in a relationship, please comment down below how you met your significant other, because I just think that I need my faith restored in meet cute romance novel worthy romance stories, and comment down below how you met your person, because I just think that's the cutest thing ever. This Valentine's Day season just has me in my feels, I think, or something. I don't know, but comment down below.
Woman, I shouldn't have to remind you that life isn't a romantic comedy. All you have to do is go outside and live your life, and some man will want to talk to you. Now, whether or not his breath reeks of paint thinner is an entirely different story, but regardless, you'll most likely reject him because him shooting his shot wasn't a meet cute, and you'll just get more and more bitter and disappointed as you slowly give up on men in general. So I guess life is a romantic comedy. You're always going to be set up for disappointment at the end of the day.
Unpopular opinion, it's actually not that hard to get a guy to chase you. We were just doing it wrong the whole time. The key is not to need him. It is a fact that men want what they can't have. They want what is not easily accessible to them. By giving the impression at the beginning stages that you really need his attention, you are making yourself entirely too accessible, and you're giving away all your power.
Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it. Thank you.
Hey lady, you got it backwards. The idea of wanting someone you can't have is a desire that's held predominantly by women, which is why your plan will never work. If you act like you don't need that man, he's just gonna assume you're not interested and is gonna leave you. However, if the man does the same thing to you, that makes you crave him even more because you can't and never will ultimately have that man. Trust me, sister, you have no power here.
Why do you think the guy you don't want is always chasing after you? It's because you don't need him, and he knows that. This is exactly why before you talk to any guy, you have to be the center of your own universe. You cannot put any guy on any pedestal, because then you're going to be chasing him. You're not going to be letting him chase you because you need him. Think about it. A girl that's focused on herself and her life and treats men as like supplemental as opposed to necessary, that's what guys want. That's what guys respect, and that's what they're into. And the only kind of guy that this won't work on is a narcissist or somebody who is extremely insecure and can't handle a self-confident girl. And if you want proof, ask literally any guy and he'll tell you that I'm right.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
That's just patently false. Men want a woman who's going to be respectful of his time, energy, and intelligence, and when you try to get this guy to chase after you, you're expecting him to willfully waste all three. You're expecting a confident man to chase after a woman who has zero confidence and enough insecurity to fill up a $600 self-help seminar. And that's a project, not a relationship, and not something any self-respecting man is interested in. If a self-respecting man wants to play games, he'll go home and play some Grand Theft Auto. It's less of a headache.
Did you have any friends that, like, girlfriends at the time, or were you so isolated?
I was so isolated. I had no one but the guy I was dating at the time. And even then, my only friends were his friends. So I had no women. I didn't really speak to anyone from back home.
Right.
My family wasn't talking to me.
Right.
I just had these two dogs.
Oh, poor you.
Oh, Mia, you silly little goose. You made the conscious decision to not only get yourself plowed by multiple men and getting yourself labeled as a religious heretic in the process, but you did it on camera in exchange for financial compensation. You can't do something like that, retire, and then expect people to be okay with your past. What you've done is on the internet, and the internet can't be erased, unlike your dignity, which was decimated years ago.
Do you understand how that sounds? Like, I'm trying to, I have so much respect for you because I'm like, you decide to leave the porn industry. Your family is not in your life at that point. You have a boyfriend that wasn't obviously the best decision. You're also saying, so like, you're alone. like, how did you even cope with that? Like, I feel so, I want to give that girl a hug.
I'm gonna kindly suggest that you brush up on your history. It's common knowledge. Nobody in their right mind wants to be associated with a harlot. Nothing good comes from something like that. This life of loneliness and solitude you complain about could have easily been avoided, but you sold your soul and took the money instead. Now you're not even worth a hug. I've known exactly where you've been, Mia, and I'm gonna be honest with you. There isn't enough soap in the world to make me feel clean if I were to ever touch you.
Ew, what a mess. Ew, ew, ew.
Men like this are hilarious. His original post was passport boy or passport bros, and some lady said, fine, bye, go. And then he comes back with this, drizzle, drizzle, so sad you've made yourself irrelevant. Perhaps you can find new pronouns. If you're making women irrelevant, like your whole soft guy era or whatever the hell you guys are doing and the whole drizzle, drizzle thing, you surely aren't doing a very good job of making women irrelevant because you keep coming in here. The whole point of making women irrelevant is to not have us be in your lives. Like, we don't exist to you.
Shut up, you don't exist.
No, the whole point of Drizzle Drizzle is to make fun of you, woman. You don't need any help in making yourself irrelevant. You've been doing that after posting your politically charged hate-mongering for the last decade. There's no chance in the intergalactic space god Zublaturds, all hail, jazz wine bar of hell, that any man is going to put up with you after what you've done. So instead, we like to drop in from time to time to remind you of that. And if you actually learn to close your mouth, we wouldn't be bothering you and you wouldn't exist anymore.
And this guy's gonna have 20 comments. His little name is gonna be post up here because he's gonna go crazy insane, with all of his little, we're leaving you, irrelevant comments. And on top of that, I find it so ironic that all the people that say, oh, that's why there's a passport bros thing, are all the men that are still here because they lack the resources to actually be passport bros. Because it's not like you just buy an airplane ticket and there's like women standing out the airport going, pick me, pick me. Like, it's a whole process. You actually have to have the financial resources. You have to have a company. You have to have a background check. You have to stay there for a long time. You have to give financials. That's like a whole meeting thing.
It's awfully flattering that you're willing to take an active interest in the life decisions of other people, but I personally fail to see how any of that is your business. The reason why these men are fleeing their native soil is to escape broads like you, whose only real insult is to make fun of a man's financial status, which is based purely on an assumption you conjured in your own head. Passport bros move to a foreign nation where the cost of living is significantly more reasonable, and if he chooses to find a wife, the traditional women are easier to find. Now I get it, you're jealous that men have found a way to be happy while you're still profoundly miserable, but there aren't enough lame insults you can throw that's gonna magically make your life better. Now I would tell you would have a chance if you learned to be nice and baked a few pies, but it's far too late for you. You're not worth the price of a glass of water. And with that being said, you now have my permission to go back to your life of not existing.
Oh!